Hello, everybody out there in promo world. You know who it is. You know how your mama and them is. Tonight, I proudly bring to you promo world news. Now, we've got a couple things to talk about this week going on in the promo world. But first, y'all know I can't do this by myself. I have to bring on my co-host, the one, the only, Dr. Quack.
Hey, what's going on?
Good evening, sir. How are you this evening? How is your mama and them?
Oh, my mama and them's doing fine. How is your mama and them?
My mama and them doing as well as they could be. Man, we got quite a few things we need to talk about coming up this week in the promo world.
We do, man.
We've got the HSP putting on their show Warpath. We also have APF presenting Lockdown this week. So, honestly, I think we really need to just get right on into it. And we start off with the first match on the card, which is Johnny Blade versus who was the other half?
Extreme.
Axel Extreme. Now,
Yeah,
correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Axel Extreme, isn't that yet another form of the one they call Rob Bell?
I do believe so, yes.
What is up, old school? Welcome to the promo world news.
Yeah, old school joining us. A-list Alverson here. Well, you can't do anything by yourself. Hey,
we have Johnny Blade hopefully coming back from still the sting of taking a sweep from Prince Blackheart against Axel Extreme as a newly formed gimmick persona of Rob Bell that I don't know too much about. I think it's going to be an interesting match.
No, we're wrong here. Look, Axel Extreme is the never finished gimmick of Damian Cross.
Never finished. All right then. Well, what are your thoughts on this match?
Oh God, I mean, I like Damian Cross. Damian Cross, coming out as Axel Extreme now. I mean, I think it's going to be interesting with him, just on the simple fact of the bizarreness. But Johnny Blade, I think, is a proven champion by now. Yeah, he had that loss over there with Prince Blackheart where he got swept. Maybe a little bit of vulnerability there. But I think this match here is actually going to bring him some confidence. I feel like Johnny Blade is actually going to have a good shot on winning this match.
Well, let me reiterate what I was saying since I did mistake the name. If it is Damian Cross, the Heathen has faced Damian Cross on a number of occasions, and he can actually bring a good A game when he's on point. But if he's apparently heading for a little bit of personal time off, how's that going to affect him mentally?
Oh, look at this. Look, we're finding this out. This is some breaking news. Sorry, this match is off. Axel retired. So, yeah, this match is not going to happen. I'm telling you, you never know what's going to happen in the promo world. Any given day,
breaking news. Time. Always a day of breaking news here in the newsroom. So, since we're not mentioning John, I'll mention Johnny Blade. Since I guess we can consider this a bye week for Johnny Blade, I suppose.
I would guess that.
Well, I'm going to hope that he sits back and reflects on still the loss to Blackheart. And as a wise man once said, learn the phrase, any given promo. Because I do believe he learned that lesson against Blackheart. But moving on to the next match in the card, what was that secondary match? Because I do not have the list right here in front of me.
The match I have here is Mr. Wallace and Prince Blackheart. That one's the number one contendership for the Pure Heart title.
Well, see, now we got to continue talking about Blackheart.
We do.
As we've seen, Blackheart's been on a hell of a run, and Mr. Wallace has the tendency to bring his A game. Case.
You're feeling the love today, ain't you, Heathen? Everybody loves Heathen.
Hate the Heathen season moves over to Promo World News.
I know.
Man, oh man. Speaking of, well, I'm not going to touch on it too much because we're trying to cover more than just myself versus the cartel. So we're going to just act like that wasn't even there.
Right.
So we have Prince Blackheart and Mr. Wallace. Who are you pulling for in this one?
This is going to be interesting. Like I said, Prince Blackheart, he pulled a sweep against the Soulfire champion. He's moved on in this tournament now to the finals. I mean, he's done this before for this title. Way back when it first started. Him and Storyteller met in the finals. Now it's him and Mr. Wallace, a proven commodity here in the promo world. I mean, I think I got to give the edge to Mr. Wallace, but you cannot count out Prince Blackheart on this. He has been on a roll.
Well, especially when it comes to Mr. Wallace, how many big time opportunities has he had that he's failed to cash in on?
I mean, he's had quite a bit there. I mean, he's had many opportunities. Singles, tag, Pure Heart, Soulfire.
And as we just said, Blackheart's on a roll. I'm not sure if Wallace is ready for Blackheart on a hot streak because from what I've seen as of late, Blackheart has changed his promo style. His pacing has picked up. It seems like he's
no
a whole
longer
other
sounds like Joe Biden in a press conference. He's actually picking it up. I'm appreciative of that.
I mean, there were sometimes I was watching a Blackheart promo and it's like somebody just kind of needed, get the hook. But it seems like he's completely pulled a 180.
Yeah, like somebody, maybe he drank like a Red Bull and it gave him wings or something. I don't know what he did, but he needs to keep doing it because he is definitely moving on that.
He's definitely on a roll. Definitely on a roll for sure.
Oh, here you go. Here's a question for you. Does Heathen think that the cartel is going to win this match?
And what is that? The I'm guessing he's talking about the 6-pack.
No, he's talking about Mr. Wallace and Black. Do you think Mr. Wallace is going to win it?
Do I think that if Mr. Wallace brings the green screen, the special effect promos that he beat me with, I think he can stand a chance. But if he sleeps on Blackheart, we done seen what Blackheart did to Johnny Blade when Johnny Blade slept on him.
Yeah.
So it's all a matter of how Mr. Wallace wants to take this match.
Yeah, I'm hoping he's got a little pep in his step because I think he's going to have to. I don't think he can just coast on this one and expect to move on to fight Old School because that's what the winner of this gets. Here, let me ask you, which would you rather see? Prince Blackheart against Old School or Mr. Wallace versus Old School?
Well, I'm going to change up that question just a little. If you're asking who would be the bigger draw,
yeah,
I mean, if you ask just about anybody in the promo world which match they would want to see, about 9 times out of 10, you're going to want to see Mr. Wallace versus Old School because Mr. Wallace has consistency. Blackheart, yes, is on a roll now, but how long will that roll actually last? And he may think he's on the high horse now because he beat the champion. He's in this match with Mr. Wallace. How big is his head going to get going into this match? So, I mean, there's a lot of questions. It's another very interesting one that I'm hoping quite a few of us have got our eye on because it is not a match to sleep on.
And there's Old School chiming in. Doesn't matter either way. I'm retaining my title.
I mean, we are talking about the man. We are talking about the man that called himself the uncrowned Pure Heart champion coming into his match against Shady Sean McKenzie, had a Pure Heart title already at his house.
He did. He was already that confident he was going to win, and he did. Here's one more question from the Tin Man. Directly for you.
You got, when does Heathen feel like becoming a tag team champion again? Asking for a friend. What's the rest of that say? Because it shrinks off.
Might know a guy that can help you. I don't know. Don't you already have a tag partner?
I mean, I'm kind of signed up with the Reunited Nations / cartel, but if that means what I think it means, there may have to be a conversation after the show.
Okay. And here we go. We got Landfill. Hello, fellas. What's going on, Landfill?
Good evening, Landfill. Quick shout out. I want to say thank you to Landfill. aka Timmy, CEO Timmy, giving us the opportunity to come out here and at least give it a shot to bring promo world news to the light of the promo verse. So thank you, Timmy. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. What do we got next?
Oh, we got the big match, the 6-pack challenge. I'm going to give you this one. You tell me who you think is actually going to go into this, because I'm talking about AEP, Mason Blade, newcomer. You got the Purge. You got Sergeant Havoc, Mama Purge, and Bossolini Carter Diamond. That's a big ass 6-pack match.
That's a stacked 6-pack challenge. Minus AEP, but that's my opinion. But if I had to pick a winner in that match, man, oh man. I mean, that's honestly, there's questions into that match. What kind of mental state will Purge be in knowing that Mama Purge is somewhere in that match? What kind of mental state will Mama Purge be in? Getting a win over me, she has to have a good boost of confidence going into this match. Then you have Sergeant Havoc, another one who's kind of came out of nowhere, been on fire recently. He's changed his promos. You're welcome. But
here's a question. How many people in this match have you beaten out of 6?
Let's see. AEP, Blackheart, or I haven't faced Mason Blade.
Purge?
Bossolini, I've had to take an L against. Me and Purge has been back and forth. Mama Purge has a win against me, so odds ain't looking too good in my favor. So there you go.
Okay, so you're going to answer the question. Who you got on this match? Who's coming out on top to go fight Johnny Blade for the Soulfire title?
If I had to pick a winner, 100% pick a winner, I want to go with the dark horse. I want to go with Sergeant Havoc. He seems to be the dark horse in this match.
I get you. See, I agree with you on some respect. I like a dark horse because I do in this one here. And I think this one here, I think everybody's going to sleep on him. But I'm talking about AEP. AEP has some bizarreness with him that it's like a car wreck. Like when you drive by that car wreck, you're going to turn and watch because you're like, what the hell is going to happen next? Because AEP will do some of the most bizarre shit I've ever seen in my life. I think Carter Diamond's got a great shot on winning this, but I'm going with AEP to pull some upset here.
Well, now that you mentioned, honestly, I think Carter Diamond would have a better shot if the effort was actually there. You're going to have to read that one. That one's way too small.
Yeah, it's way too small. It's kind of just long. You know, he said his people, Tin Man's going to have his people reach out to your people here.
Well, just hit me up after the show.
There you go. There's that. AEP will do a promo, you remember.
I mean, which variant of AEP do you want? Do you want the Netflix series? Do you want the finisher stealing AEP? I mean, he's got many forms, but it seems you watch an AEP promo, as you said, it's kind of like a car wreck, and there's parts all over the place. I mean, if he can keep from trailing off and the repetition, honestly, I think he's got about as good a shot as any. But as I said, I'm going with the dark horse and Havoc.
The only thing that Sergeant Havoc can cause him is him trying not to stutter. Oh,
well,
boy, I'm telling you.
That comes with experience, though, because Sergeant Havoc is still relatively new.
Yeah. And see, look, Mary Sue's Secret Garden here. That's what AEP was. See, AEP's got a lot of creativity. And I wonder, because I watched his hype over here, his 2-part hype, you know, and he came out there and he was mentioning everybody. He was definitely shooting blanks here. Not really. He was actually shooting rounds. He was nailing people.
I will give AEP the slightest bit of credit. When he is on point, sometimes he can drop a line that'll hang around for a little bit. I mean, the Secret Garden, the Netflix series. I mean, it's all stuff like that sometimes if the right judge likes it, that can put you over.
Yeah, look, Sergeant Havoc has been relatively new for 2 years now. I'll tell you, everybody's got some fire here in this crowd. I'm telling you.
Well, it seems like it's all coming from one person. So, I mean, it's A-list Alverson. He can talk enough for just about everybody in the room. So,
there's a few others here, Actually, let's see if we got one more. The only thing secret about Mary Sue's Garden is the number daily of visitors. Oh, boy. All right.
Here we go. All right. I'm going to attempt to keep this somewhat professional. So,
yeah, you are trying to work on that image. I know.
Yeah, since we have such a great image to keep up with anyway.
Yeah, no.
Now, we'll move on to the next card. The next match on the card.
Actually, the final thing I want to talk about here, because Storyteller and Vagabond are supposed to be announcing their teams for Soul Harvest 3. My question to you is, who do you think is going to get picked out of them? Like, who's their go-to guy? Storyteller, who's his best friend?
I mean, do I think he's going to put Half Past Black in there? It depends on his common sense, whether he's got it or not, whether Half Past Black ends up in that match. Anybody, either one of them two with half a brain cell should know that the Heathen's got to be in that mixture. And, I mean, it depends on who picks. I mean, it depends on what they're looking for. Because if they're going for somebody like an AEP, I mean, Sergeant Havoc, you figure with them being team captains, they're going to look for people that's kind of going to benefit their style, or they're taking the chance at picking the weaker ones because them's the ones they have to face at the end of all of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see how this. I mean, do you pick your enemy? You've been involved in Soul Harvest. That's a pretty big match, 7-on-7. You got to trust people around you.
Soul Harvest is no easy feat because you have no friends in that match.
And then last year, you had to fight your tag partner, your former tag partner.
That was the night that he got the award-winning victory over me.
He did. I mean, it's crazy how this works out because it's friend versus friend, and yet whoever the winners on the winning team are, which that could be a tie like we saw last year, they go into a match over on Take It Home where they got to fight each other for that number one contendership spot. That's a lot. That's a lot of grueling work to go through.
You look at it from a promo artist standpoint, it's nowhere near easy, and anybody that thinks it is needs to step in and try it for themselves.
Half Past Black can't compete. It's like him trying to put a condom on before it gets soft. Can't make it happen. Oh, Jesus. I'll tell you, a very colorful audience here. Colorful. But I'll tell you.
Only on Real Talk. Only on Real Talk.
Because we just keep it real. And speaking of keeping it real, we're going to go and show you a quick preview of what's coming up this Tuesday. And we're back. Yeah, Promo Summit this Tuesday. We're going to have 4 of probably the more intelligent people I've ever met in this business. We're going to have the Heathen, as you can see him. We're going to have Mr. Wallace. We're going to have A-List Alverson. And we're going to have Old School all coming on to talk about the issues of the promo world. The Promo Summit this Tuesday, Election Day, 7 p.m. But we got another card we got to go into.
That is APF Lockdown.
Yeah, that's an interesting one here.
So let's go through the rundown. What do we got kicking off that show?
Okay, I'll give it to you here. There you go. Lockdown Championship qualifier. We have Vagabond taking on Matthew Palmer, the main event, Matthew Palmer.
Well, honestly, I'm going to sound biased here. I don't know anything about Matt Palmer. I've not seen anything. I don't know if that's for me missing something or if he's just not been active yet. But Vagabond, a very, very common topic because he's well known around the promo world. But what's well known about Vagabond is the self-sabotaging voice edits or the echoes that it's cost him many matches from what I've seen in my perspective, because a promo artist relies on their voice. They rely on the lines that they have to say. And when you put an echo filter or some kind of edit like that in it, the second half of the promo gets cut off. It's not going to make any sense. So I'm hoping Vagabond is getting some of the instructive criticism that's been given, and I hope he can pull forward with it. Matt Palmer, if you're brand new, welcome to Promo World. I hope you enjoy it. If not, I'm sorry, I don't know it. So what's your take?
Right. I went and did some research because I was trying to find this guy, and I was actually on the page because Vagabond had mentioned he had been on one of the sessions there, on their weekly talk show. I didn't see him at all, so I have no idea about Matthew Palmer. I do know about Vagabond. I'm telling you, if Vagabond cuts his promos like he does his lives, like he comes out there the way he does it, on screen, in your face, and gives it to him, I think he would totally whoop this guy's ass. I don't know how good he is, but I think Vagabond will have no issues. Now, the echoes, it's good to have, but these are things that he's got to work on, and he knows that. He's got, a lot of praise, but he's got a lot of things to work on as well. But I would take Vagabond in this match.
I mean, I gotta agree with you 110%. I mean, Vagabond he's a dangerous character. I mean, it's like you said, if he would go and cut, I would love to see him go against somebody like Mr. Wallace or one of these higher tier talents with a bare bones stipulation. I think you would see a whole different. I think you would see a night and day difference in Vagabond.
Totally agree. I mean, that it's going to be interesting to see who moves along here. Because you got the other Lockdown Championship. We just talked about both of these men. These guys are fighting in that six-pack challenge, but now we got the one-on-one with them, AEP against Sergeant Havoc. We've already talked about, both these guys have been improving and moving up the ranks here a lot there. Who do you see coming out on this?
Honestly, I think that's going to be one of your closest.
I can't answer that question. I can't. Can you answer that? How do you feel about Matthew Palmer? I don't even know what he looks like.
Ain't seen him. I mean, it's a John Cena thing. You can't see him. So, but honestly, I think Sergeant Havoc, with the role that he's starting to pick up a little bit of steam. AEP, he just lost his title over in PPA. He just lost the showdown. He's not been on the greatest of runs as of late, and I think Sergeant Havoc's really gonna bring it to him, because from what I've watched of Sergeant Havoc, he takes information in like a sponge. He's picking up on things. I mean, I remember when he first came into the HSP scene, he would stand stiff as a board and get like 2 inches away from the camera. And it's like since a couple of us have talked to him, he's really took well to the information, and I mean, we've created the monster.
But I will tell you, I can't tell you too much, but I talked to AEP today about this match, and he told me that he has a surprise for Sergeant Havoc over there. So I'm interested to see what he's got. I'm curious on who's going to win this. I think just on momentum, I like AEP, but this is going to be a very close match.
Indeed, I do believe it is. It just, can AEP bring that surprise? Are we going to see another Secret Garden? Are we going to see another Netflix episode? I mean, that's, as you said, one good thing about AEP is he has that wow factor. Sergeant Havoc, on the other hand, is more of the straightforward, in your face, points to the point. And I think it's going to be a great clash of styles. I think it's going to be a good match.
Definitely. And the final one here, we got a 3-on-1 handicap match. The Real Heel Club, the Purge, Jack Saban and SNES, taking on Magnus Blood. A 3-on-1 handicap match. Have you ever been in one of those?
I've only been in one handicap match in my whole career, and that's when I faced Old School and Sixes Inc. over in PPF. And if it goes any way that one did, I mean, there's not going to be much to watch. It's going to be a slaughter. Because
it's kind of difficult to battle, 2-on-1, but now you've got 3-on-1.
But if you get the right promo together and you can hit points on each one and hit nail them all with one line, there's slim chance.
Well, God, we have one viewer's opinion. You have to pay me to watch this one. Oh man, Jesus, man, feeling the love here for APF right now.
Yeah, you can see it. There's A-list Halverson. he's couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Definitely. What I want to move into now before we hop off here, I want to move into your hype of the week. This is where we're giving credit out here to promo artists on what they do.
All right, my hype of the week was in APF, and it was by Elijah McFly. He posted a hype mentioning the Straight Jacket sessions, and just watching this, how his style of promo has evolved. His pacing, he's not standing in the middle of his room with like it didn't look cluttered. He straightened it up. He's putting a little bit of edits into his videos now, and with the slow, methodic pace that he's picked up, he's not come out about like a Mason Blade and went 90 miles an hour and been out in been out in the first minute. I think Elijah McFly is on the verge of matching Vagabond, or maybe even getting a little bit better than Vagabond when it comes to a more darker side of the promos. But that is my hype of the week.
Definitely. I mean, he's turning the corner. You can really see it. He's finally starting to, use all the tools in the toolbox instead of just coming out there and using a fastball.
Definitely.
Yeah, I tell you, my hype of the week, though, and I got to give it to him. I've been saying his name a couple times. AEP, I'm telling you, I'm loving this guy. This guy here is coming out, and he's going to be strong. I think he has a strong chance on winning this match, a six-pack challenge. I'm telling you, I'm hoping to see him go against Johnny Blade. I think he could take Johnny Blade and possibly win the title.
Well, I mean, AEP is a former PPA world champion. I mean, he's got titles under his belt. It's just, can he stay focused? It's consistency. Promo world, I think that one of the biggest words is consistency. Can you keep that run going? I mean, I don't mean to use myself as an example, but when me and Rig, as the Highway Hellraisers, were going on our 8-month undefeated run as tag team champions, that is one of the biggest words we crammed into our brains, was consistency. To keep the same intense level, if not picking up the tone. I mean, it's all about not that match that night. It's about the matches after that. You got to be thinking at least 2 or 3 matches ahead.
Definitely do. Well, there you go, folks. That is the end of our show. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to be talking about next week. We're going to talk about some Inferno Revolution because they got a show coming up here on the 17th, I believe.
Yes, they do. They've got the show coming up that week. We also have PPA's Risk or Reward coming up. I think it's in 2 weeks. I do believe he said the 27th. I'm not sure. I'll have to get a card for that. And we got the polls up. We'll be talking about the polls because I've been watching the comments. Very, very interesting conversation in the hype poll that was put out in the which part of the promos. I cannot wait to get into that next week. So we've got plenty in store here at Promo World News.
We definitely do. I'm Dr. Quack.
And I'm the Heathen. And this has been Promo World News.